to take that off.
Okay, Carolyn, can you start us out, please?
Okay, Marcia just asked me if I wanted to drop in for a little while tonight, if I had some time and the leg wasn't bothering me. And I kind of asked her what's my main dishes, because I didn't get it at first and I haven't been on the meetings the last few months, but she gave me some ideas and I was able to pick out a few things. Now, these are all old samples of things that I still make, but the samples are really old. So some of them might be a little faded and a little off color from sitting around in their display cases, but I have okay, I don't know if you can see it. This is a lasagna that I did in a black pan. It's just in one of those metal pans. I spray painted it black. And it's just Fimo and glass stain. And this one, no, this one, yeah, this is all Fimo, glass stain, and some sand. And then actually real kind of parsley or oregano or something a little bit sprinkled on the top. I said it's a little faded out now, but I did put a little bit of just a really, really fine crushed herbs on top. And I have in the same pan, I had some baked macaroni and cheese that I did. Same idea, black pan, Fimo, and then I just made a whole load of little elbow macaroni.
What do you make the elbow macaroni with? Or was it long?
No, it's all Fimo.
Right, but did you make like a long snake and cut it?
Yes. Yes, you cut very long, thin snake, cut them into little tiny pieces, and then just give them a little bend. Take each of the little pieces that you cut and give them a little bend and drop them in the pan. Tony, you want to tell the elbow macaroni story? Do you remember that one? Tony might not remember. Tony took a class from me years ago where we did macaroni salad. It was a picnic class or barbecue class or something. And we were doing macaroni salad in the bowl. And she was very disappointed that we weren't putting holes in elbow macaroni. I looked at her, I said, I may be crazy, but I'm not that crazy and you're not going to see them. So anyway, so on top of that, again, is just glass stain and some sand, but it was like white sand that I had pre-colored with a glass stain. So it looks like brown kind of breadcrumbs.
That's nice. Oh, no, Frankie.
I hope everybody's had dinner. That looks good enough to eat.
Thank you. And I also found a pan of, now my hot dogs are a little big, but I have some Franks and beans that I did. Same thing, it's just a different shaped metal pan. And everything again is Fimo. They're just little tiny rolled oval balls of caramel colored clay for the beans. And then the hot dogs are a couple of different colors, combinations mixed together and then made and just cut into little chunks, and again with just glass stain holding it all together.
You're talking about gallery glass?
Now what I used originally on the three I've just shown you, it's pretty much gallery glass for most of it. The next one I have quick to show you, I just picked it out because I did not bad looking, was not gallery glass. And there's a slight problem with the gallery glass doing the fried chicken I'm going to show you. The fried chicken was made with the old time glass stains, which were the enamel based ones, which stuck to everything and were wonderful. But of course they decided they smelled, people were sniffing them and getting high. So they discontinued all of that, And then one by one, all the other brands I've tried, because I've been through several brands of glass stain over the last 30 years of doing this. Now we're really just down to gallery glass. There really isn't anything else. You used to have several different kinds that you could purchase to do different things, and they worked in different ways. But it's pretty much gallery glass or nothing now. I grabbed this quick. This is really, really old, but I have a biscuit of fried chicken. And this is again glass stain. I make my Fimo pieces and put them in a paper bathroom cup, a Dixie cup. And I put a few drops of glass stain in roll everything around with the toothpick, sprinkle in some sand, and do like you do shake and bake. And shake everything around in the cups till everything gets coated. When I had the really good enamel stains, I sometimes then would do a second coat after it was all dry. I'd put them in the cup and put a little extra glass stain to give it that little extra, oomph to it, so to speak. But you really can't do that too much with the stuff that's out there now. So that's a bit of a problem. And then Marcia mentioned a pizza. I've never really done a pizza with a lot of toppings on it. Mine are usually just pretty plain. I have the pizza, and when they used to have the really nice pizza pans with cutters that T&E Brownowell used to make years ago, I used to make pizzas on the pan. The little cutter, the pizza in the little Faro, box used to be able to get Faro Industries. And I brought a salad. The salad was good for a pop.
Oh, cool.
Okay. What is
And
that?
The salad is it's Christmas snow.
Mm.
Okay, that flaky, the papery kind of Christmas snow, not the kind that comes in the shaker that you use, like the powdery stuff. This is the flaky kind of stuff that they use like for Department 56 and some of those.
Mm.
And I just color it with, I use 3 different kinds of green, but I just color it with green paint. Pour a little in for a bowl, drop or 2 of paint. I usually put like a plastic glove or something on, stick my hand in, make sure it's all mixed and mushed together. Spread it all out on paper towel or a piece of tin foil or something, let everything dry, and then throw the 3 colors together in a baggie.
Are the handles, are those fancy toothpicks?
Yeah, that's just 2 toothpicks cut down. I just
Yeah.
cut them up to fit them in the bowl. And then I make, in this one, I probably didn't make the cucumbers in this one, maybe not the tomatoes. Some of the more complicated canes, I sort of know how to do it. I could sit down to figure out how to do it, but I don't want to necessarily be bothered. So I used to buy stuff from a lot of people. So, but that's all pretty much Fimo vegetables in there. The radishes, the carrots and stuff I make myself. I have made cucumbers. They're not easy, so I don't buy them. The onions are just bits of, if you can see the onion right here. That's a white cocktail straw.
Oh, just cut into pieces?
You put in like a drink, like you get in a
Yeah.
local drink, white
Yeah.
Clay. Okay, sometimes you can buy those in like party supply places or, where they sell those kind of party supplies. And they're just cut very, very thin snips off of that. That's all those are. And the mushrooms, the tomatoes and stuff I made, but the cherry tomatoes I made in this, but the sliced tomatoes I did not. So anyway, so that's.
And those are all 1-inch scale, huh?
Yeah, these are all 1 inch. The stuff I usually sell was, for the most part, it's 1 inch. I have made some stuff in quarter. Salads are not easy because everything is so microscopic in 1/4 inch. You can't really see the vegetables. I have done it, but they're really tiny. So, that's that. Does anybody have any questions on what I used for anything or any formulas or anything like that? I'll let you know what I did.
Have you ever tried taking chalk dust for coloring or even for like your greens and the lasagna?
Okay, the problem I had, and I said I can only speak from personal experience, is that I find the chalk after a while rubs off. Pastels and stuff, you need to really, even after baking it, you maybe need to put a slight, even if it's a matte, some kind of coating on it so it doesn't come off. I've never been a big fan of chalks. And I used to use pastels and I would find everything would rub off. So mainly most of what I use for colorings and stuff now are either paints, like for breads and stuff like that. I dry brush or use a wet brush. It kind of depends on what I'm making and a technique. I usually just use paint and or glass stain. And actually the lasagna and the pizza are made similarly. You can do them with resin. The original formula or the original thing that I had that was from Mary Ecker. If anybody goes back that far, remembers Mary.
I remember Mary.
Who was my first teacher. Okay, that's where I learned everything that I know. She used to use resin for most of her stuff, which was fine. You mix the 2-part resin. It's orange and red dyes, but that's when we used to use the little pot dyes, not the bottles that they have these days also. And you put sand in until you make it thick enough to make like a tomato, like a paste, and put it on. I have also found though that works, but for classes, that was hard for me to do, and people wanted their stuff done right away. So I found a mixture of the gallery glass, some kind of like red, orange with a little white, something to give you like that tomato sauce color, and still put sand in. But you have to be careful that you don't add too much that it's too thick. But it does dry a little faster. You don't have to wait the 24 hours that the casting resin and stuff that I use. You have to wait for that to set before you can do the cheese on top. So, and the cheese in the macaroni is just, again, that's gallery glass. That's orange and yellow with a little white to lighten it.
And to color your sand, did you use the gallery glass for that?
No, the original sand I had was the old enamel stuff, but you can probably find something to, like in a brown or an amber or something. You can try it a little bit. It clumps a little bit when you do it. You just need a few drops. It's more, otherwise it gets too thick. Just like a couple of drops, you put some sand in and you mix it with a toothpick, and then I usually spread it on something, get it out of the cup and put it on like a piece of tin foil and let it dry. And then for this, then what I do is, if it's a little clumpy, I took it and you can just like, take it in your fingers and sort of smush it up a little bit so that it loosens up and it has smaller pieces. I've also tried for my breadcrumbs, believe it or not, we used to use cream of wheat cereal. This one probably is maybe more cream of wheat. I don't know, it's either cream of wheat or it might be sand. Lately I use sand, but the same idea. You use the cream of wheat, and we used to put 2 or 3 drops of the enamel-based glass stain in and mix it all up, and it would be clumpy. And then when it dried, I would take it and just like, go like this and break it apart. And that's what I do with like the parsley and stuff for the tops of my Italian food. I buy like the dry parsley. You have it forever. And I just take them out, I put it in and I just scrunch it all up till it's like powder fine, and keep it in something, a baggie, a film can, something like that. And when I need it, I just take a little sprinkle out and just put a little bit on top just to give it a little extra something. Franks and beans, or like a brown glass stain, you could probably use the cocoa. Well, you buy something more of an amber or a cocoa brown. I know gallery glass lately, I've seen they have new bottles. They've redesigned some stuff, and I think they have some new colors again. So if I can get my hands on some of the new colors, and I can get back in my workroom, which I have not been in for about 6 months because of the leg, I want to try some of those new colors and stuff and see how that works as compared to the stuff I'd been using. So anybody else have any questions?
For mashed potatoes,
Yeah,
what would you use? Like
the colors for the female?
Yeah.
You mean-
Or yeah, or would you use, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I
mashed
use I use Fimo. I said pretty much all my stuff is Fimo, but I can give you colors. So if you can use Sculpey or any of the other clays that are out there is fine. But I use like a transparent as my base. Okay, and then I add some white.
Okay.
Okay, but you don't have to make it white, if you know what I mean. You don't
Yes,
have
an
you don't have-
off-whitish kind of.
Right. It's some white and some transparent, and no more than equal parts, I would think, to each. I'm trying to remember my formula correctly. And then I add the tiniest touch of ochre. Just to tone it to, the ochre color.
Ochre, okay.
Ochre, yeah, OCHRE. I forget what number it is in Fimo, but it's like yellow ochre, they call it, or whatever. It's like that lightish brown, that yellowy brown.
Okay.
Okay, and just like a hair, a little tiny little pinch of a corner in there, just to tone it so it's not white and like so stark and looking at you.
Yeah.
The tiniest bit. And my macaroni is similar. It's ochre and transparent with maybe a little touch of white in it. And actually it's the same for the chicken. My fried chicken base is transparent with ochre.
What does the transparent clay do for the piece that if you don't use the transparent clay, you know, kind of what's the difference?
Okay, well, you want to use transparent if you're making something like, say, jelly beans.
Right, I
Which
can
are a
see it
little more
there.
which they're a little more translucent. I think, they call it translucent now, transparent. It's a Fimo effect clay because they've changed things since I first started using stuff. I said, I go back 30 years now, I'm in business, 31 years. So, I think they call it's an effect clay now. I don't know whether they call it transparent or translucent, but you have to look in the section where they have the clay that's Fimo effects, like that would be the pearls or the, the specialty stuff, the stuff with the sparkles and the glitter and stuff in. If you get it in the store, if you look it up online. And what it does is I've always used it to make things a little more translucent. It helps soften stuff. I never have liked Mix Quick or any of those other softening clays that you can use in that. I've tried them. I didn't like them. I would rather just use the transparent.
So it makes the regular clay softer. the
It can
transparent.
make it a little softer. Yeah, if it's already not like a rock, it's a little bit
Uh-huh.
softer, smushier kind of a clay, and you can use it as a base. The only thing is unless you want something to be translucent, like I was saying, like a jelly bean, or maybe like
Yeah.
say even a lollipop, something that you kind of see through, but not really with a color.
Yeah.
You don't want to add more than an equal part. So, you want to just add the same amount of translucent as you would to say white, just to soften it or whatever color. If you want it to look more translucent, then you use a lot of translucent and just a tiny little bit of your color.
What color do you do if you're making like dinner rolls? Like what would you?
I basically use white. Maybe if my white is a little stiff, depending on how long I've had the clay, I might add a little translucent to it. You could add a little bit of a tiny bit of ochre. And I mean, I'm talking a tiny little minuscule little speck. You add little bits at a time. If you put it in, you can't get it out again. So you're better off doing a little bit to get the color you want. I don't know what clay it is now. I think Fimo has a clay. I don't know whether it's in the soft line or in one of their others, because they've got several kinds of Fimo out now. There is something I think called sand, which is sort of a very palish beigey brown. Maybe you could use for bread. I don't know what Sharita uses for some of her stuff. Maybe she could chime in too. And then what I do is I usually just use white or something like that. And I then use a golden brown or a burnt sienna or something like that. Use a couple of colors of brown to brown the clay.
Mm-hmm.
To
Okay.
make the crust on top, basically. So, anything else? Okay. All right,
Okay.
Martha,
Thank you so much, Carolyn.
you're welcome.
Thank you, Carolyn, and you've just talked yourself out of business.
No, she had.
Giving away all your trade secrets.
Right.
Hey, that's what we're here for. It's okay. I wouldn't have taught classes for all these years if I wasn't willing to do that.
Yeah.
It's fine. I don't have a problem with it. And I haven't been doing anything, as I said, for about 6 months. It's been almost impossible to sit in my studio with the leg because I got to keep it elevated stuff. So
Yeah.
eventually, maybe I'm hoping by the end of the year, maybe I can get back in there again and really get
that
back
would
to
be
We do
business.
too.
Because
Well,
I've got a
we
million ideas for stuff and no time and can't get in there to work on things. So
Well,
We
it's something
thoroughly
you love and enjoy
appreciate
doing
your
too.
time and effort for coming on and showing us that.
you're welcome.
Thank you,
And I
Carolyn.
just pulled all this out of my sample cases, so that was okay. I just had to go find them and
That's okay.
open everything.
Sharita, do you have any along this line to show?
Well, I mean, a lot of times I would use the Model Magic for stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
Because
think
if
that's
you
my one
use,
squishy. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you use the bread, if you want to make bread and you break it apart, if you just break it, it looks like bread. It has a texture of bread.
That's
Uh-huh.
true.
Yeah. And you can color it real easy, like dry brush it or whatever with the acrylics or whatever you want to use. And that's why I like the Model Magic, and dust it with a little baby powder for a flower look on there.
Now, do you have to bake Model Magic?
No, it's air dry.
It's an air dry, okay.
Mm-hmm. But you have to kind of, I like though, they got a class pack where they're little bitty packets. So that's more reasonable, because then you don't open a big pack and then waste it, because if you don't use it right, pretty soon it's gonna dry up.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Shalita, do you sometimes use Sculpey?
I do for different things. For my cheese, for the cheeses, I use Sculpey. Or Sculpey, or anything to get where I need to be.
Yeah, I got you.
I use any kind of clay that's gonna get me there.
Yeah.
But I do use a lot of Sculpey though.
One thing I was told a long time ago, I think it was even back in the era of using bread dough that was the
Wow.
dough mold.
Oh, mixed with glue, huh?
Yeah, that
And
they use like
glycerin.
a makeup brush, or not a makeup sponge that you can pat it and it'll give you that texture look. But like I said, this is a long time ago.
Yeah, but like I say about the Model Magic, it's got its own texture. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
That was the only thing that Kilpatrick's bread was good for, is making bread dough flours.
Yeah.
You certainly wouldn't want to eat it.
No.
Right, but I was so afraid that bugs or something would eat
Yeah, you
it,
get
so
bugs in it.
I never wanted to make the bread dough stuff.
Yeah, I bought some of my early pieces that I bought before I started making my own stuff. I had gotten some crates of fruits and vegetables or something for some 1-inch scale, some scene I was doing. And were down someplace in my basement or whatever, and they got, I guess, damp enough down there, they started to get moldy.
Oh,
And I
wow.
had this really nice crate of cantaloupes. They looked so real. And I had a couple other things, and they were made with the bread dough, and they started to get like this, like the fuzz on them. I guess for
Wow.
something that either weren't coated enough, or I don't know if they had glycerin in them or what, but this was, I mean, I said, I'm going back like
Yeah,
Wow.
it used to be the
35 years.
thing to
Yeah.
do a long time ago.
Yeah, you could do the bread, I think it was bread dough and glycerin or something like that.
Yeah.
And my daughter made a lot of those using bottle caps for the pie tins. This is when she was in junior high. She made these. And eventually, I don't know whether insects got to them or they just degraded on them their own. But they're a total mess. They wound up in the garbage.
Insects can
20 years later.
definitely get into them, and
Yeah.
mice like them a lot. You can ask me how I know.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
mice
true.
like a variety of things.
They do, but mostly natural things. They don't
Yeah.
seem to go for, Fimo or more chemically kind of things. But
Yeah.
bread dough definitely. The
And they
things
like to eat paint. I mean, they'll go right through the bottom of the jar of paint.
I
Well,
haven't
depends
had
on,
that
what?
happen happily, but
Some paints have like that milk paint stuff or something like that. They might have something in it that is not
Attracts
toxic
things.
that they like.
So how long has Fimo polymer clay been around? Does anyone know?
Long time.
Oh,
Oh.
Quite a
long
long
time.
time. Yeah,
Well, at least, let's see, 34, almost 40 years, because they've had it since I started in in
Yeah,
the
I was gonna
miniatures.
say, I have some that I think is probably close to 40 years old.
Yeah.
Whether it's any good or not is doubtful, but it's that old.
Usually
Elaine,
mine
if
has
you-
kept pretty well.
Elaine, if you can go out and pound a nail with it, throw it out.
Well,
That's
some of these are brand new packages, so I'm hopeful that they might have stayed okay in that.
As
And then-
long as they haven't been near heat.
Yeah, well, and I told you last month when we were talking about fruits and vegetables, that I had some I had put through a pasta maker and had super thin sheets of Fimo and put them between sheets of wax paper and then put them in a Ziploc bag sealed with as much air as I
My.
could get out.
Oh
And those
my
are still good almost 30 years later.
Oh,
Oh,
my
wow.
gosh.
Flexible, you know, you can
Mm.
still use them. And
Yeah,
that
the ones that I have
surprised me,
double and
but
triple wrapped have lasted
yeah,
me.
that
this long.
surprised me, but I'll take it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you saving them for?
I
In
don't
case
know.
She needs them.
Someday.
That
just in
question could
case.
be applied to all 5 million objects in my
Right.
workshop and storeroom. And I'm not doing that right now. So thanks anyway, though.
Yeah, we do have round to it and some days.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, anyone else got anything to do with casseroles or anything to show?
Can I go off topic for a second?
Sure.
Unless someone else has some meals to show.
Go
I
ahead.
am working on a roll top desk kit that's from Karen Carey. I'm pretty sure. I'm double checking.
Yeah, it looks like her stuff, her stock numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it. yeah.
And it's all together except the roll top desk part. And the pieces are the wrong size and there aren't enough of them, or I'm doing it all wrong. And I just wondered if anyone ever happened to have done that particular kit.
Oh.
I
gee.
haven't done that one. I have a lot of her stuff.
Yeah, it looks familiar, Elaine, but I can't say definitely whether I've done it. What does it say to do? Is it like a piece of quarter round? And you're gluing stuff on it, or? You're muted.
Elaine, you're
Elaine,
muted.
I muted because my daughter called me a few minutes ago and you didn't need to hear the ringing or anything else. Am I? Yes, I'm unmuted. Okay. I am unmuted. Why did it do that? Never mind. I'm getting weird messages. Okay, so the bottom's done and it's fine. I just need to put the knobs on. And then the top looks like that, and that's the side.
Okay.
And then there are 5 pieces to go across,
Oh, all right.
but they're longer than they should be. Now, that's not a big deal. I can cut them down. Put one on here, right? But yes, they are half rounds. You probably can't see that at all. They're definitely longer than they should be, than the picture shows. But if I put them all, there's only 5 of them, and 5 will not cover that distance.
The
unless I leave-
reason they're like that is because the lid is partially opened. So you can see inside the desk.
It isn't in the picture, but that's a very good idea. I will do that.
Because I actually made a kit like that for round tables. And shortly after I made it, some of the people that lived down in her area were telling me that she was making a kit like what I had made. And my comment to them was, there's a million different kinds of desks. So I'm not worried about it. I just make round tables for fun. I'm not trying to make a living at it.
Right, well,
So that was how I made my my desks, is I didn't put all the wood down. I wanted to leave it so you could
yeah,
actually
no,
see inside,
that's a
and you
terrific
could put
idea.
little pieces of paper in or a
Mhm.
pen,
Sure.
something like
I mean,
that.
this is the picture. and
Right,
if you
I
can
see
the
it, yes,
picture, it looks like it's completely closed.
yes.
But I like your idea very much, and I'm going to go do it right now.
I
So
don't
is it
believe
a
I had a
working-
Although
picture.
I think I have to take the bottom, there's a bottom piece that I've already glued on. I'll play with that. I'll see what happens.
Is there, can you roll the top up and down?
No,
No, no, no,
Oh,
no, no.
okay.
Not in quarter
this,
scale.
this,
I
this
do have a
was,
1-inch one where
that
you
was
can.
many, many years ago. That was
Yeah.
before laser cutters and
Yeah,
Yeah, this is
all kinds of
definitely,
stuff.
well, this kid also goes back a long ways.
yeah, because I've
I
done
just
thread
started
boxes where it
pulling out
opens.
old kits at random and doing them. I have absolutely no idea where it's going. But,
Yeah, I like to do that. In fact, I was trying to find something to do right now. Not that I don't have enough.
yeah, I know what you mean. But, okay, thank you. That's a great idea. I'll report back in a few minutes.
Or you can get some
Okay.
more wood and make it all the way down.
I could, but I'm pretty sure I don't have any this small. So, but I like.
Yeah,
the
but
idea
if
that
you're
things-
short, that's a good idea. Leave it
Yeah, I
open a
like
little
that.
bit.
I like that. I need to cut it down because it's also too wide. And I don't know why that is, but it is. All right, thank you.
Okay, I actually have something to show.
Oh,
Whoops,
wow.
Wrong thing.
Oh, we were so excited, Marcia. You were gonna.
I didn't make it. It came in a swap or something. It's a pizza and it came in its own little box.
What
Oh,
is it?
cute,
Pizza.
Pizza.
Oh, yeah.
cute.
Oh,
It looks like it's been cut.
It's got the
Like-
creases in it to cut. Yeah,
that's
So-
cool.
came in a swap somewhere along the line. Okay, anyone else have any questions, comments? Anything about casseroles or main dishes or anything?
Oh. Not a lot, huh? Okay.
I probably will have a question when I start playing with the Fimo.
Thank you for sharing, those who've shared. I
Yes.
am not a FEMO worker, so I don't have much to share.
Okay, with that,
I-
I will.
I prefer to buy food.
Mhm.